A soft session here in Europe this morning with the UK's FTSE 100 index currently off around about 15 points, the DAX in Germany off around about 12 points, and the Euro Stoxx 50 index currently lower by 3 points. The US dollar is weaker against its rivals. Core government bonds are largely flat, and gold is tracking higher, living up to its safe haven label. Good morning, I'm Ishaq Siddiqi, and welcome to your daily market bite. I'm going to give you a quick idea of what's going on in financial markets today. So we had a relatively subdued session in Asia, which has not really inspired the European session. The real driving force, of course, is the US budget battle, which continues with only 1 day left before we reach the deadline. The deadline that for the US economy to essentially lift the debt ceiling so it can borrow more money. At the moment, a deal remains elusive. US lawmakers have been battling it out, trying to figure out how to essentially avert a crisis, a technical default by the US economy. However, that hasn't been a deal hasn't been finalized yet. It's been a bit more encouraging out of the Senate, where lawmakers seem to be finding a common ground between Republicans and Democrats, but the House of Representatives are extremely vocal to a deal to raise the debt ceiling, particularly from the Tea Party faction and which are from the wider Republican Party. So at the moment, we really have 1 day left. Investors feel relatively comfortable that US lawmakers will be able to pull out an 11th hour deal. They've done this before. They did it at the end of 2012 with the fiscal cliff situation. And even if we don't get a deal, when you really dig down into what's happening, it's not going to be D-Day or default day for the US. We'll get a technical default, but the US Treasury still has around about $32 odd billion to rely on, and it's likely that we could probably see a deal in the next few days. But nonetheless, the 17th of October is a key deadline date for global investors. So the eyes are all on lawmakers in Washington. Now, heading into the European session today, we've got a number of economic data points to look out for. UK unemployment numbers, which are absolutely essential. We also have harmonized Eurozone inflation and the Eurozone trade balance data. On the macro side, we've had poor numbers from Publicis, Ubisoft and Danone, which are hitting sentiment in Europe. Later on in the US, we've got numbers from IBM, eBay, also Bank of America. Yesterday we had numbers from Citigroup and Coca-Cola. Both are pretty poor, disappointing the market. So earnings season from both sides of the Atlantic has not started off as well as some would have hoped. And when it comes to the remainder of the week, we've got some big data out of China coming out on Friday. But again, all eyes are on US lawmakers in Washington to see if they can hammer out a deal. So we're going to expect some tentative trading in the run-up to that. That is all for your daily market bite. Tune in for another one tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in the US. Cheers for watching.